It's well known that J.R.R. Tolkien had some concerns about the Chronicles of Narnia, although his objections to it are often exaggerated. But one concern that he had was about the books that are on Mr. Tumnus's bookshelf. When Lucy goes to visit Mr. Tumnus and spends some time in his cave, she reads the titles of books on his shelves. The Life and Letters of Silenus, or Nymphs and Their Ways, or Men, Monks, and Gamekeepers, a Study in Popular Legend, or Is Man a Myth? In a letter, Tolkien wrote to a friend, "Nymphs and Their Ways, the love life of a faun, I mean to say, doesn't he know what he's talking about?" Well, first of all, we can see that Tolkien was somewhat exaggerating here, and he made up a title, The Love Lives of Fauns. That is not on the list. But he did have a point, and we should discuss his point. But Lewis also did know what he was doing, so we should talk about what Lewis was doing. Tumnus goes on to tell all these stories of life in the forest about nymphs and dryads, about the white stag, the red dwarfs, Silenus, and Bacchus. Many of these characters are taken from Greco-Roman mythology, and we get a little tiny glimpse of the feral paganism in operation behind this children's story that C.S. Lewis is telling. Not to put too fine a point on it, fauns were not good characters. They were conflated with the satyrs, and they took into their characterization some other Greek and Roman gods and figures, but overall, they were these wild half-goat, half-man figures whose chief delight in life was to chase after nymphs with an attempt to seduce, assault, or rape them. Now, obviously, C.S. Lewis isn't going to touch that material in a children's story, but he is putting Lucy in a very dangerous situation. Just 2 pages later, Lucy finds out that Mr. Tumnus has signed up with the White Witch to hand her over, presumably to be turned into a statue, killed, so she cannot take the throne. So Lewis knew very well what he was doing by putting these books on the shelf. He was asking what would happen if this dangerous mythology came to life, but he was toning it down to be appropriate for a children's story. So Tolkien had a point to say, what is Jack doing putting this material into a kid's book? And Lewis knew just what he was doing, saying, I am drawing from a myth that had truth in it, and that also had wild and dangerous pagan tales that need to be baptized, that need to be sanctified, and that certainly need to be sanitized before put into a children's tale.